welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Chronicle podcast. I'm your guys' host, Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. And fuck yes, we are back. In case you guys are wondering, I mean, if you're listening to this in binging episodes, doesn't matter to you, but you're far in the future. To the people now, we are back. I've been away for a little bit on the podcast. It has been taking a break due to life, due to moving, due to a lot of fucking stuff here happening here. But your host is now engaged to his wonderful fiance. That has been a thing. She's a beautiful woman, actually currently here in the studio / room here at the moment. Shout out to you, Kayla Baker, soon to be Kayla Morgan. And yeah, that's been one of the many things that have been going on. Been dealing with a bunch of job shit because economic times suck ass. So dealing with a bunch of that and also doing work on my own comics as well. It has been very, very busy, to say the least here. And so we were gone for a little bit of time here. But like I always post on social media, you guys have 4 years, actually I think 5 or 6 years now, of content for interviews, sort of review stuff, like so many interviews here on the podcast for you guys. So we are back. We're going to be weekly. Every Tuesday, we're going to have an episode come out. I got a lot of fun people, some old friends of mine, some new people coming out of the podcast as well, too. Speaking of which, the guest of today is Jacob Edgar. He has not been on since like 2021. Actually, I think 2022. And he's not been on since then. Jacob is an artist who's been done work for indie books, Marvel, DC, his own things, the ones. Like, it's a whole lot of fun. And we have such a laid-back conversation here. Fucking hell, it's been a while. So we have such a laid-back talk, and we talk about Daredevil. We talk about working in the comic industry now. We catch up on what's been going on. But yeah, folks, I know that we've been gone for a while, but we are back with a fucking vengeance. The Comic Chronicle podcast is, and this is probably the longest intro to a video or podcast I've ever done. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been tuning in. Business though, really quickly, if you guys want to follow me on YouTube, I do a lot of video games and dinosaur content over there on that channel. Paleo, I would say, because I do prehistoric creatures. With Dino Times, a talk show where I go over education and trying to do interviews. But I do a lot of educational videos for you guys and cover the recent paleo news, as well as play dinosaur video games and also other nerdy stuff as well. You can stay tuned for that, or you can catch episodes of the podcast there. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you guys are listening as well too, because there's so many fucking places. And also as well, I'm on Twitch when I do play video games. CodaRex97. That's CodaRex97 on Twitch, guys. And outside of there, social media at Dakota Morgan 3 on X or XXX if you're feeling in the porn mood. And then Instagram is at Dakota_Morgan97. So yeah, ladies and gents, without further ado, in this long fucking intro, I'm gonna have to do a lot for. I don't know. It's just so good to be back. It's so fucking good. Let's dive into my talk with Jacob. Yeah. So again, like I said, Jacob, welcome back to the podcast, man. I mean, it was a blast having you on before. The podcast took a little bit of a break. It's why I haven't had some people back on, but we are back. I mean, as of this recording, now nobody really knows for sure yet, but people will know when this comes out. It's a whole fucking release date schedule thing. But we're back, and Jacob, good man, how have you been? Like, what have you been up to since you've been on the podcast?
I guess it's been a while, so a lot has changed. I've had a lot of books come out. Personally, I'm a dad now. I think I had 3 kids at once. I had triplets. I've had 3 kids since we talked last. Yeah, so really? That's the biggest change. Yeah.
Oh man, I know we follow each other on, well, it used to be Twitter, but like on X, but sometimes stuff slips through the cracks. But 3 kids, that's oh. So were you smiling, happy of joy, or were you like, oh shit, when you got the news?
It was some of both. It's one of those things that it's just like surreal. You find out you're going from 0 to 3 instantly.
It was 0. Oh boy.
yeah. We didn't have any kids, and then all of a sudden we're gonna have 3 kids. So you just roll with it. I was mostly excited, but I also didn't have to carry 3 humans inside of me. So my wife had a little more trouble with it than I did.
Oh boy, yeah, that's the thing there. I mean, humans carrying other humans is the thing. I'm just like, oh boy, that's not my forte. I worked in the animal field for a while, and I've seen a lot of pregnant like animals, and I'm like, oh boy, like a tortoise I've seen have like 12 eggs in it at one point. I was like, Mama, what are you doing? And I got 3 people. I couldn't even imagine. Power to your wife, man. She is definitely a trooper. Like, boy.
She was, yeah, and is. They're 2 years old now, so they keep us busy.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. I mean, you've had a bunch of books come out. So, I mean, like, how has been, like, work-life kind of balance going on? Like, is it, as people who maybe want to have kids in the business or whatnot, like, man, they're going to look to you and be like, how does this man do it?
Yeah, well, full disclosure for those people, I do still work a full-time day job. So comics is still that's my love and my passion, but it's not paying all the bills, especially with 3 other mouths to feed. So
Yeah.
my speed has slowed down. They say how you have to be at least 2 or 3 things: to be fast, be likable, be good, to keep getting work in the industry. And I'm not fast anymore, so hopefully I still have the other 2 things.
I mean, like, you're a very likable man, so I think you're good in all that stuff. So I think you're good in there. But like, is it just speed because you're busy taking care of kids, or is it just like, you know, you hit a certain age and things aren't as fast as they used to be?
Yeah, it's more of just the time of the day. Like, there's only so much time in the day. If you're working full 40 hours, plus you're trying to be a dad and be a husband, there's not as much time as there used to be to draw.
Yeah, I feel that. As a writer, we're currently for the company behind the scenes been doing a lot of work, but writing and running things for creator-owned comics, about 4 of them, you know, and it doesn't pay the bills full time. Like, you got to work that day job. I feel that, man. It's a day job, and you're doing that. I work 2 day jobs doing comics and doing podcasts and YouTube for some unknown reason, and I'm like engaged. So here we are. So it's like
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's a whole thing and a half on it, and I'm just like, man, what time is left in the day?
Right.
What happens? Oh, I have a meeting. I had to work 2 jobs today, or actually 3 jobs today in total, and then also do like a big hour-long meeting for comics today as of this recording, and then we're doing this podcast. Yeah. It's been a day. Whew, it's been a day. It's been a day. But you've still found the time to do it. I mean, what do you do on your free time? Like, what is it? Do you still read a bit? Do you just sketch a little bit as well? Like, what is it? How do you keep your sanity?
I am an active reader. Like, I have a pull list at my local comic shop, so there's a few books that I'm picking up, and so every night I seem to only get through maybe 5 or 6 pages before my eyelids give up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, pretty much every night I'm reading at least some of a comic book, and every now and then I get to dust off I'm still on the PS4. I don't have a 5, but every now and then I dust that off and play a little Red Dead Redemption 2.
Nice. Does it sound like a jet engine yet, or are you still in that like it's all right sound?
It runs pretty good. It's never been too heavily used, so it's holding up all right.
Hey, very nice. I full disclosure, I should admit, I've only played online in Red Dead 2. I need this. I still need to play the
story
campaign.
Mode I don't even bother with the online, honestly, but I'm on my 4th go round of the story mode.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I know there's some catching up I got to do, and I've been playing other games and doing video game stuff on the YouTube channel and shit too. But like, so that kind of takes up a little bit of the time, and then when you do that, and you're just like, fuck. I just like it sitting down. I think there's something about it when you sit down and play a story game. Like, sometimes I restart Fallout. I like Fallout New Vegas or 4. Yeah, I get you do that a little bit. I took on the initiative not too long ago. I started another character in Skyrim. That was okay. Yeah, that was a thing.
And those are like big time investments, and Red Dead is too. There's just so much to do. Like, it's not like something like Red Dead Online or something like that where you just pop it in, play 10 or 15 minutes. Like, you can't really do that with those kind of games.
No. But that's what I think the beautiful thing about it is like you can just escape into those video games and just forget everything exists for like at least 10 minutes. I don't know about you, but like at least for me, I'm able to be like, I shut my bedroom door. My cat knows for some unknown reason. He's like, Xbox is on. He's ready to go. But if it's a story game, you could just like be that and be like, you know what? This world's pretty nice. I don't have to worry about my bills right now in here. This is pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely get caught up in that as part of the Red Dead experience for me. It's just like, I've always been a sucker for Westerns anyway. So that one was like, it was like they made a video game for me, basically. So to just live in that for a while was really fun.
Shit. Some of the clips I've seen, because people post clips of video games on TikToks and Instagram Reels and all that, like, and I look on there, just scrolling through past all the crazy Carnage videos that pop up in my feed, but you see all that, and I think there was one of like, it was Arthur going against a bunch of racists in there, and because of the guy, and that clip sold me. I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is good. Like, this is really good writing here. I like this a lot. Oh man. What do you read in these days? Because I know there's a whole lot of diversity in comics. It feels like I took a break from comics for a little bit because I had a car accident for about a month and a half, and so like I had to put money towards car fixing.
Yeah.
So I came back after a month and a half, and it feels like the comics world went all sorts of crazy. But what do you read in these days, man?
Lately, let's see, Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers. I've never read any Transformers before. I never watched the cartoon, but for Daniel Warren Johnson's art, I'm picking that one up and digging it.
That's a really gory book too. Almost, it's a lot more graphic than I thought it was going to be, and I love it.
It is pretty aggressive, yeah. But
yeah,
I think that's just his speed. So.
Yeah, it's so good. That one, immediately you chose a good one. Like because I've been reading. That's one of them I've been reading, and this Starscream just wrecking it and just squishing people. You're just like, I never.
Yeah, he like squished a person. Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Like a guy has like Vietnam flashbacks, and he's like coming and he's just getting dressed like Spike's dad, and you're like, what is going on? Like he's getting geared up and ready to go, and like Autobots are dying, Decepticons are dying. You don't know who's gonna live, who's gonna die. Like, yeah, good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, and then I've been picking up World's Finest, the Dan Mora, Mark Waid book. I've been getting that since it started. That one's fun. I really liked the new Gargoyle of Gotham, the Raphael Grandpa Batman book.
Yeah.
That one's beautiful. That's all off the top of my head. I have been reading too an old, it's a big trade of Brubaker and Lark's Daredevil run.
Really?
Yeah, because I have all the trades from the Bendis and Malieve era, which was right before that. I ate those up when I was a teenager. I was always buying those. And so I'm just now starting to read some of the Brubaker stuff that followed after that.
Oh, it's a beautiful run. Just a beautiful run right there. There's something, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, and there's going to be some fans that are going to be like, no, this one's not that good. I think Daredevil's been good in the comic wise. I think there's always been entertaining for Daredevil for the past 20 years. I don't know what it is. There's never been a bad Daredevil book, it feels like.
Yeah, I think Daredevil's a character, and Daredevil fans are spoiled more than definitely any other Marvel DC character, just in terms of long, good runs, from Frank Miller to Ann Nocenti to Bendis and Mark Waid, and I mean, just endless good comics.
Even the current ones. I mean, I don't know if you've caught up on currently, but he's been fighting like demons that have possessed like major Daredevil characters, and so because he's come back from hell, and you're like, this is interesting. Like Matt's a priest again. Like it's really good. Like it's the current books going on are really good, and I just don't know what it is. And I've fully disclosed this too. I've cried at a lot of recent Daredevil books. They make you cry. Like Born Again definitely is the one that makes you cry. But I think, oh man, Born Again just makes a person just cry. That's a weeping thing. But even a lot of the recent ones are characters dying, people coming back, Matt finding himself again, relationships. You're just like, I kind of shed a tear. You really, and you're like, this is beautiful.
I should mention too that I'm reading. I really love the new run on Hulk with Nick Klein's art, especially on there, but Philip Kennedy Johnson's writing. It's basically like a horror book.
Yes, it is. I've seen the pictures and I'm like, what is going on? I read some synopsis and seeing all the stuff that's going on in there. Like, it's beautiful art and some really good storytelling.
Yeah, I'm liking that one a lot. It reminds me of it's sort of the old Bixby TV show mixed with EC Comics, because it's Bruce Banner, I guess, is just back to kind of wandering the country, but each issue he stumbles into some kind of gothic horror or monster. I think Ghost Rider he's facing off with now in the latest one. So that book's been a lot of fun.
it really makes you think. I had this talk with somebody the other day, and I'm like, how does like there be a president in the Marvel universe? Like, what is that guy like? What is his day-to-day life? Like, all right, here's a billion things that are happening in just the United States. We have coast to coast. We have all the mutants going on and their problems. We have all the magic happening here that everyone sees doing for like, here's all this going on. I couldn't even imagine trying to be the stress level of the president in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, the FEMA budget must be insane.
Oh my God, yeah, like FEMA, like they're like, well, here's damage control. Oh, damage control is corrupt. All right, well, we're fucked. I didn't know what we were doing. I couldn't. Red Cross is just like, we need blood. Okay, we need people who are practicing magic because we have a whole issue going on over here. And they're just like, all right, Frank Castle's cleaning up house over here. Okay, just let him be. That solves so many issues. Let's let him be. And they're just like, oh, the Avengers are over here. Damn it. What happened? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, no, the New York, like being a New York City mayor too, just must be hell. It's gotta be. I couldn't even imagine. I kind of want
insurance rates through the roof.
Yeah, like I kind of want to see that, like damage control of the book, but I kind of want to see like what's the day-to-day life and the people who run the United States in the Marvel universe, because it's got to be nuts. Like, okay, we're having another board meeting. Okay, what happened? All right, well the mutants killed NORAD. What? Okay, now they're resurrected again. Okay, well. Oh,
it's not a bad pitch, really. I don't think there's ever been a government book in Marvel or DC.
DC had that Office one, which DC had Gotham Central, and that did very well.
Yeah, but that's cops. If you did like the government,
kind of like kind of like a step above Shield. Just like what it would, kind of like, so it's not just Shield, but it's like FBI or even like the stuff. This a book on the president and his stress would be such a good comic. Like, I think, what would it be? It'd be in the realm of the world's worst mutant book or the world's worst X-Men comic. When that one was around for a while, people may remember that. Apparently, that's a few years old. I think that's like 5 years old now.
Like maybe Tony Stark could run for president and then.
Oh, that
gets there and sees what it's really like.
Oh, wasn't he Secretary of Defense at one point too? I think he was in that in Spider-Man Life Story. I think he was Secretary of Defense for a while.
Something like that. And he did run SHIELD after Civil War.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Oh, yeah, because that's the guy I want in charge. There's no, I don't know. Just the issues that would happen. All right, well, Marvel, if you're listening here, Jacob will be the artist and I will be the writer, and we're going to pitch you.
Yeah, we've got ideas.
Yeah, the United States of Marvel. There you go. Here we are. That would work. Each issue covers a different thing of like the day-to-day. Like one issue is going to be, all right, we're dealing with the mutants today because they can only handle one issue per day. They can't handle like 50 things anymore. They're like, okay, we got the Avengers happening here. Now we have to deal with magic. Do we have a division of magic? No? Okay, well, let's get that going because we're screwed. Doctor Strange, he just told us that he's never talking to us. Okay, well, we're done for. Oh, it'd work. But speaking of that, though, so what have you been up to, though, good man, in the realm of comics when you're dealing with being a dad, a husband, and falling asleep reading books in bed? What is it kind of like with you in comics right now? What have you been up to?
I've been working on lately the second volume of the Ones, the Dark Horse series that I'm co-creating with Brian Michael Bendis. So we put out volume 1. We're working on volume 2, and that should be, it's not official, but it should be out later this year.
Hey. Very nice. And what can you tell people a little bit about it? Just kind of pitch it a little bit here.
I can't say much. All that I can say, because Brian has put this out there, is the Ones will find out that they are not the only ones, and so they have to battle the other ones.
That was the most political answer. Oh, yeah, that's real tough. That's an enigma right there. All right, Jacob, I see what you're doing.
The Ones versus the other ones.
Was that on
that's what we're in for.
Okay, all right, I like it. It's straight, simple, and it sounds like you're running for office, but you're doing great. Oh man, I like it though. That's been the comics you've been working on for a little bit. So
that's the most recent one. Nate Cosby and I are still working on our Kickstarter book, The Daring Double Life of Ace Adams. I'm itching to get that one finished, so hopefully that'll be out later this year as well. And I've been doing some covers here and there.
Nice.
And that's been the gist of it lately. I got a short stint fill in and helping out on the Batman Adventures Continue series the end of last year, which was a lot of fun.
Cool. Very cool. I like it, man. I like it a lot. You know, is there, I don't want to like have you say anything that you can't talk about, of course, with the ones going on there, but like, what has it been like with, kind of taking a step in the art? Have you been finding a lot of inspiration with life and like, maybe tackling new things? Has that affected you as an artist in any way going on?
I guess in some ways, like my, just with my kids, they can see me drawing and they see the things that hang in my office and stuff like that. So I had never really intended to push superheroes on them or comics, but they're seeing it, so they're naturally interested, and it's sort of becoming part of what they're into naturally, which has been kind of fun. And so all of them, but especially my son, but the girls are interested too, are getting into I tend to only show them older comics, older, more kid-friendly art styles and stories. So we've been looking at a lot of like Jack Kirby and John Romita collections, which has been a lot of fun for me because I love those artists and pull a lot of inspiration from them anyway. But just constantly going through it, like every day, every other day, we're flipping through those pages. So I think a lot of that has been on my mind lately when I'm drawing and probably coming out in the art.
So
you're
giving them some classics. Yeah, you're really diving in and just saying like, here's the original, here's some classic, like here's the big thing that you're not gonna see too much promoted, but you really went for it. You're just like, here's Jack Kirby, and they're like, whoa, okay, like you're really starting strong. I love it. I kind of, you were saying that too, was that they see it everything hanging up in the office, but I mean, we live in this weird world, and it keeps getting more and more intense. Of like, kids these days, everywhere they turn, there's DC or Marvel, and indie books as well, indie stuff as well, that people don't even know that are comic book related. And so I think there's so much comic content. Like shit, we had the Avengers on packets of oranges, man. We live in a crazy world, and like I think sooner or later they're gonna see something, whether it's at school or I went back to school. I mean, they're a couple of years old, so I'm not probably doing too much, but when I go through shopping and I pick up notebooks just for work and whatnot, and when I go through those in back to school section because they're on sale, I see so much like comic book themed, just school supplies in general, and I'm like, I would have killed for that as a kid. I would have like an Iron Man pencil protector, like, oh, I would have been made fun of so bad, but I would have definitely rocked it. I think it's just crazy to think about that. I mean, fiance and I were looking at just doing foster later on in life when things get a little bit more stable, and not having kids of our own. But like, I think it's just in that weird spot of just kids growing up. They're always going to have comic book stuff. It seems that we're in a lot of places they turn.
It looks that way. Yeah. It would be strange to go back to like me when I was 10, 12 years old, when I decided that I wanted to make comics, and like explain to that younger me, there's going to be so much comic book and superhero TV and movies that you won't even watch at all. Some of it you'll just miss. Like younger me would be like, what do you mean I don't watch it? There's too much. How could there be too much?
And some of it you're going to be disappointed in, but some of it you're going to love. So, you're going to pick and choose, kid. Make sure you choose wisely. You're not wrong. Like, even writing this podcast, people think they're, writer, and they're like, oh, you got to read and watch everything. I'm like, no, there's no fucking way. There is no way at all you can do that. Like, I haven't even finished Echo yet. I've watched the one episode, and I like the character Echo a lot. And Daredevil's in it, and Kingpin, like, it's check on the boxes. I have not had the time to finish it.
Yeah, I've watched 2, so I'm only slightly ahead of you.
Oh, that ain't too bad. I like it so far, though. I should make that clear. So far in just one episode, I'm liking it.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm digging it. It's good to see. It's good to see all of them back. Daredevil and Kingpin. I'm hoping that Kingpin can get into a Spider-Man movie. I'd like to see that.
That would be chef's kiss. If you have him, Daredevil, and Kingpin in the movie, I'll give you all the money that I don't really have anymore. I'll just give you all of it. You get all of it. It's all yours. Oh, that'd be amazing. I mean, I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm not going to go on a limb, but I'm going to make it kind of clear. I kind of do actually like Daredevil's red and yellow, or even the kind of brown and yellow suit. I don't know what about it. Like, even in the She-Hulk show, I kind of dug it, but like old original Daredevil suit, I really dig it.
I never have.
For some
reason. Yeah, I'm not into the yellow suit. I love the red. I don't like even when he's gone to like the black suit. I think it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he did do that. Yeah. Oh, I should make it clear. Red suit is better, but but the yellow suit I like. I don't love it the best, but red suit is the best.
Yeah.
That black suit. Well, what was it that he went to the black suit for?
Shadowland or something like that.
There we go. Yeah, because that's when he was like possessed by the hands demon and stuff.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah, and that's I think maybe a couple other times.
I do like the yellow suit over the that 90s armor suit that's come back for some reason.
Oh, that silver one.
That's no offense to the great artists who have worked on it or the people that like it, but it's not for me at all.
Oh, yeah. I saw that action figure like a year or two ago. I saw it in the store, and I looked at it. I picked it up, and my friend was like, "You gonna get it?" And I'm like, "Bro, no, I'm good. I'm good, brother. Yeah, I'm fine." And they're like, "You love Daredevil?" I'm like, "I do. Not that much." And
not that one.
I don't know. That's just the straight up 90s design. Like, he's got silver battle armor on. It doesn't even make any sense. Like, no, hold on here. I'll take the armor in the show because that's like carbon fiber and it works like that too. Just steel on Daredevil doesn't make sense because like he's a ninja. Why are you putting steel on a ninja?
Yeah,
and it's shiny. Like it's he's in New York. Like it's a couple of lights and reflections away from getting him shot. What are you doing? Oh,
but I get very picky about. If we're getting into the weeds on this stuff, I get very picky about costumes. Like if somebody draws like knee pads on Batman's costume or Captain America had them for a while, that was like I wouldn't get a comic because of that.
Really?
It bothered me. Yeah, it bothered me.
You are on your hill, Jacob, and you die. You die on that hamburger hill.
No knee pads.
No, I mean, I'm kind of with that because it doesn't really make sense. It's odd. Yeah.
It just, to me, it's clunky with the design, and it's like, we don't have to worry about realism that much in comics. Like, if Batman was a real person, he'd be dead in a week. So, I don't think giving him knee pads makes him more believable.
No, and if it's like really like armor that sticks out and is just making them bulky, like you're just like, why? Batman, I will take the pointed ears on Batman though for some time. I will take a short stint of that. I don't know about it. Kind of makes me a little fearful of him.
Yeah,
pointy ear Batman's weird. But now, do you think that's because you're as the artist in you talking, or is it like as a comic book fan talking about being?
I think it's some of both. I can't really separate them at this point. Like when I'm reading, I have a hard time a lot of times separating like, oh, what would I have done here, or seeing the strings, as it were, of what's going on, like knowing how something was done or why something was done, or if an artist is like cheating perspective or not following perspective, that jumps out to me all the time. No. I have a better time when I can get really, and this is sort of rare in this point, the longer that I'm in the industry, this becomes more rare, that I just get sucked into a story and I stop seeing those things.
That happens as creatives. I think it happened with me in the film industry for a while, because I worked in there in my costume and art department and all this stuff.
Right.
And when I was like, I'd watch movies, and as also a script writer too for film and also in comics, but like film industry, like I can just look at something and figure it out. Like we were watching, Andy Fountain and I were watching the Squid Game show, but like the one where it's the contestant, like real people doing it and stuff like that. and like they would all of a sudden like they were pretending they were shot, and I'm like, oh, that's a squib. And like it's supposed to give the illusion that they're shot with like a paintball gun, but like no, it's a squib in there, and the squib explodes. And my fiance's like, "How the hell do you know that?" I'm like, "I years in the industry, hon. I spent years into it. You figure this shit out." And as a storyteller too, like I'm just as a writer, like it's the writer version of what it is with you looking at like the art, especially with costume designs in there as well, is like figuring out a storyline. I'm like, oh, here's this. Like it's tough sometimes to get a good story where I'm like not figuring it out. I'm like, yeah, it kind of sucks. Like we love what we do, but it kind of ruins it a little bit because you're like, fuck, I figured it out. Or like, man, what design choice was this? If you're an artist like yourself, like it's that secret thing that happens that no one tells you about till you're working in the business.
Yeah. It's the gift and the curse that comes with being a part of it.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just like, man, that's why I love comic book covers that don't tell me anything about the story. Because I'm like,
Really?
oh, it's perfect. Yeah, I love that. And I know a lot of people may be like, why? But I'm like, I love it when it's not related to the story because it gives me any hints of what's going to be going on in the book. And I like that. I don't know why I've been really diving into it. Maybe it's because comic book prices have been raised a lot. I think that might be why. But and I'm just like, I don't want nothing. I don't want to know what's in the story. Like, give me a hint and like what's going to be in it. Or if it's a series that's ongoing and I'm reading, I kind of don't want to know anything about it. But so I'm like, a lot of times I'll go for the variant covers. Also, because I like supporting artists who like are doing the variant covers and they're just in doing that thing. They're like, well, I'm not a full-time guy, I'm a part-time, but I like supporting artists that way. But because you guys are magicians, Jacob. I think I said it a lot last time you guys were on the show. Yeah, I had you on. But like artists, you guys do magic. Paul and my artists for my books, magic. I don't know how you do it. Like,
it's been fun the couple writing things that I've got to do. That is a fun trip when you send over this document of words and then all of a sudden these beautiful pictures come back to you. It's like, wow, this is what was in my head. Or sometimes it's not what's in your head, but it looks cool.
There's that. But the better ones are like, wow, they took what I made and actually made it better. Like, like, I don't know how you did that. I wrote this at 3:00 in the morning and I kind of fucked up a little bit, but you turned it into something beautiful. I was listening to something the other day. And I think you probably relate to this even as an artist, is like you're working. Like someone was talking about it on a thing, and my fiance and I were like watching it. Oh, fuck, I wish I could remember what it was. But and it was like the thing of like, you're working from in the afternoon, and the next thing you know, it's 6:00 in the morning because you dove in and you found that like storyline, or you found that thing you needed to create. And you found it, and you just couldn't let go, and you just needed to work your way through it. And next thing you know, it's 6 a.m. I'm like, yeah. And she's like, she looked over, she's like, has that happened to you? I'm like, multiple times, yeah, multiple times. You figure out that part of what you're working on, and you're like, I need to see this through. And the next thing you know, the sun's up.
Especially with writing, it's like sometimes you get so stuck. It's like when you're on a thread and the words are just coming, you've got to keep going because it might dry up.
Yeah, and you don't want to lose it. Like the best one I've seen, it's a TikTok somebody made, and they're like, when you're writing your story and you figured out the plot twists and you figured out the character developments, plot twists, and the rest of the story at 3:00 in the morning, and that's like written over the like Iron Man and Tony and Iron Man 1. He's like, wake up everybody, and he's like got the music playing, all the robots are turning on. I'm like, that's the feeling. That is exactly it. You're like, all right, I got this. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh man, I just love it. And you so going back to it, what you've been working on. You mentioned working on a Kickstarter project. What's that like? Because I don't want to keep you too much longer because it is pretty late over there. But like, what is Kickstarter like working on that in 2024?
Yeah, this was the first time that I had done it, and I found it really, really interesting to. It seems like there's a different, and I think more and more creators are finding this, that there's almost a different audience that's going to Kickstarter versus the audience that's in comic book stores. Like they're all comic book readers and comic book fans, but they're not consuming in the same way. And I don't know what you would compare that to. Is it like TV watchers or network TV watchers versus streamers, like they're all consuming the same things, but it's different way. And so there's kind of an untapped section of readers over there. And it's interesting that you put out your concept to them, and then they're coming to you, and you're actually seeing that they want it, that there's interest in it. There's the interaction that you have with them, like as they're backing it and taking questions about it, and as you go through the process with your updates and all of that stuff. I think it's really interesting. We're and the backers know this, we're well behind. I wish it was done. It's sort of a long story, not my place to say why it's not done, but it should be done this year, hopefully soon. But I'm really excited about the book itself, the concept. It's one guy who's two different superheroes, and it's set in a sort of fantasy 1940s, 1950s-ish retro world. And this guy, Ace Adams, who's a stuntman in this fantasy version of Hollywood that we've got. By day, he's this bright, swashbuckling, sort of golden age Superman type hero called Whiz Bang. And then at night, to deal with the seedier sides of Los Angeles, he's this character called the Black Dog, which is this really theatrical, dark Batman type character that he's come up with. So it's one guy, two personas, plus his regular life. So there's a lot going on in his head. But it's just an old school type, fun superhero adventure story. Nate Cosby is the writer on it. I think I mentioned him. And Kike Diaz is coloring. Russ Wooten is doing the letters. It's a lot of fun.
I like it, man. I like it a lot. That sounds really cool. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds really, really cool. Can anybody, like, is the Kickstarter done? Are you guys in the production right now? I mean,
yeah,
can people support anyway?
Yeah, the campaign is done. We are well into production. There will be at some point a pre-order page where anybody who missed the campaign can order additional copies. That should be coming later this year. So you just follow my socials, or if you find you can still find our campaign page on Kickstarter, either as Linny Incorporated, which is Nate's company, or The Daring Double Life of Ace Adams, which is the title of the book. Should be able to find it either way.
Nice. Very nice. Alrighty, good man. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time because it's late over there, but is there anything else you want to promote at all or anything like that as we near the end of the show?
No, I don't think so. There's not much I can send people out to get right now. I'm doing variant covers on the Hollywood special. I think they've got one, maybe two more issues coming out, so those variants will be coming. I'm doing variants on a series called The Sin Bin for IDW, which is about a hockey-playing father and daughter that fight demons. And then look for The Ones Volume 2 and The Daring Double Life of Ace Adams later this year. And other than that, I'm on Twitter/X and Instagram at JCB Edgar. And I've got an Etsy page for prints and sketches, stuff like that.
Very nice. Very cool. I mean, it definitely sounds like you're still busy, especially like
I'm busy. Yeah. There's other
definitely
stuff that I can't even talk about, so I'm busy.
Well, I feel it's always. I hate it / love it. I love it because I actually get a chance to have the jobs, but I hate it from like there's stuff even on the show that I want to tell people, and like you just want to tell people, like, look, this stuff's really cool, and I'm working on it. Especially after doing a meeting. Yeah. I did my meeting like a couple hours ago, and I'm just like, you guys would love it, and it's like like it's like, oh, NDAs, they haunt.
Yeah, the NDAs, and there's so much lead time in comics anyway. With you do something and then you can't show it to anyone for months. Like I just had a X-Men cover come out in December. Yeah, December it came out. I turned that into Marvel the previous November. So that was literally under wraps for over a year before it came out.
God, you must have even just forgotten about it. All right, shoot, that's insane.
Well, I turned it in. I had no idea when it was going to come out, so I just was looking at solicits like everybody else for when is my cover ever going to come out, and then finally it was getting later and later in the year, and I was thinking, well, I guess it'll be one of these months, and then sure enough, in December it finally dropped. So,
wow, very cool, man. Well, that's insane. I mean, I say that, but then my books have been in production for like 2 years, so there, you know, there is that. Comic books take a long time to make and to come out. They're not quick and easy like people think they are. They're insane. But again, thank you, man, for taking the time and coming on the show. Like, if you have anything else for Kickstarter, if you ever want anything, like, it's on recording, so you could say, like, you said this. I can, anytime you want a commercial, anytime you want to come on and help promote a Kickstarter thing, any of your own books, man, you're welcome on the show. I love talking to you. It's just very chill, laid back time every time.
Yeah, I had a blast, and I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on again.
Of course, man. Of course. I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right. Take it easy.
All right. You too, man.